to the Ray Bros Nerd Show. I'm here with my brother Zach.
Hey, what's up, guys?
And a baby. So we're trying something a little bit different today and going to do the podcast over video because I'm under the weather and the weather is not fun outside, so
I am Willard White.
you can watch some zombies gameplay.
For over 40 years, I directed the most terrifying, visceral, and bloody scenes ever committed to film.
Trying to find a way
My
to walk.
contribution to horror is nothing short of genius.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Before my retirement,
So,
demanded to know my secret.
alright, so this is different, but it should be fun, and hopefully it works out the way I think it will.
If you really
well.
want to know how the sausage is made in a Willard Wyler picture, the recipe is simple. First, you add actors. Then, you start grinding.
So we're 2 short weeks away from the holiday period, and I cannot wait.
I can.
Why?
I like holidays or... Oh, this isn't gonna work.
Yeah, I
Wait,
can hear
no.
myself.
Yeah, but I can mute the TV, I'm sure.
So the only thing bad about this is that we're playing under the Ray Bros Nerd Show name, is that I'm level 1 on this. And on my regular screen name, which I typically just share with my friends and stuff, I'm like level 40, so this is actually going to be difficult to play probably a little bit, because I'm used to having certain weapons and things like that.
Yeah, I'm wondering right now, like, how far, like, lag behind, like, the video I'm seeing of you playing it is, as opposed to, like, what you're doing.
What I'm doing, there's probably like a little bit, there's gotta be.
Oh, there definitely is, because, like, when you were talking, it was funny.
Oh yeah. But like once you watch it's like a one for one thing, so anyways, so there's a couple of topics that we kind of came up with over the week. One of the funniest ones I thought was the Capcom and EA conversation that you kind of started. So go ahead and say what your thought process was, and then we can debate it a little bit.
Well, I mean, first off, it starts out by the fact that every year EA is voted as, like, worst company in the United States. Like, they're the most evil, terrible company out there.
When it comes to gaming, because it can't be overall.
I'm pretty sure it's overall.
Yeah.
Like, a bunch of, like, angry nerds get in onto that poll and vote for EA just to start shit. Just to be like, oh, you guys suck. And so, I mean, it's complicated. Because I honestly, one, obviously EA is not the worst company out there. And also, they're not even the worst, like, video game company out there. Like, with all the, like, shitty mobile games and Steam games that are out there, like, just mass market.
Yeah.
EA doesn't want to play. So immediately right there, it's like, okay, so worst company ever, but everybody like shit themselves with how good, you know, they felt Battlefield 1 is. So
Yeah.
that's, you know, that's just backstory on EA. Like, everybody shits on them, and look, they're not a perfect company. I think they do a lot of positive things in terms of, like, it was rated #1 as the best, this one I can't remember if it's company in general. I imagine this one is the best game developer to work for LGBTQ people. So,
Yeah.
you know, those people, you know, and they've made great strides throwing that stuff into their video games, like having, you know, same-sex relationships and stuff.
Who do you think like is your favorite like game developer?
I mean, for me, I think it's... I mean, are we going based on games or based on...
Yeah,
like,
based on games and your own personal experience with, like, let's say for example, you played a Deep Silver game and you just had a great experience with it, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I think easily the best, when it comes to, like, goodwill gestures, The best company right now is CD Projekt Red, which is pronounced a little different because it's a Polish company. It's like CD Projekt or something like that.
Yeah.
When they released The Witcher 3, which they're not a big developer, they're not an EA, they're not an Activision, they're not even a Naughty Dog.
Yeah.
Now, they released The Witcher 3, which is in itself like my favorite RPG of all time. Like, of all the RPGs, whether it's like turn-based, you know, action RPG, anything.
Yeah, and I saw that game got a lot of awards too.
Yeah, because it was amazing. But then also, so you know, your complaint about EA is microtransactions. Well,
I think that's the majority of people too. It's like their main complaint is how many microtransactions they have.
When Ubisoft is 3 times worse, or were, until people like rioted against Ubisoft. Like, Ubisoft had microtransactions for single-player games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
well, didn't they change everything to that like Uplay thing? I forget what it's called, where it's like
no,
you get
that's
credits.
a completely different thing. That's a different thing. That's like you get achievements in games, and then that unlocks points. You can get additional content in the game.
Yeah.
None of that's really been super like predatory. I mean, it's kind of pointless. It's like you get a different outfit for your character. Good for you.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But Ubisoft was much worse with that stuff than EA is. But everybody just likes to heap on EA because they've been around so long and sell so many copies of games, and they have so many different games. Like, but what I was saying about CD Projekt Red is they released a full game for $60 that I myself put way more than 60 hours in, and it was all good content. It wasn't like 60 hours of like just walking around and doing nothing.
Yeah.
And so on top of that, for the first, I believe, 6 weeks, so for the first 6 weeks after release, they put out 12 pieces of free DLC.
Oh, okay, that's pretty cool.
And it wasn't like stuff that like was finished for the game. It was like, I mean, it was stuff that could be, but like it ranged from big things to small things. Like,
that's what she
and
said.
The last piece.
Little offense.
I've been watching too much Office lately. Go ahead, sorry.
We're ready for a night game.
But like one of the last ones they released was a completely new set of armor that has quests, and it's like when you get Witcher gear armor sets in The Witcher, it basically you go on these quests to find them, and you find these like journals that like explain where the Witcher gear came from and who had them and how they ended up where they are, and you usually have to solve some kind of puzzle.
Yeah.
So first they did that, and then they released a season pass, and most of the time a season pass is like worthless. It's like 2 hours of new content for $30.
Yeah.
If that. And it's like super bare bones type stuff.
I'm trying to think if I've ever bought a season pass. I don't think I ever have, actually, personally.
You're lucky, because most games there's no reason to, but like with The Witcher, the first piece of DLC that came out was like 8 to 10 hours long, and it could be longer if you did all the additional side content. And it was like a really interesting story that was like this massive side quest.
Yeah.
One part of it was you're actually doing a heist. Like, so they completely changed the game mechanics into like this, you know, medieval heist.
Which sounds silly, but awesome at the same time.
Yeah, and so then they released the second piece of DLC like a few months later, and that DLC was of better quality and longer than some full $60 games.
Oh wow.
And I think if you bought that separately, it was only like $20.
Why don't we
But
go
it was
blitz if
like
we don't
the
keep
main
these windows
quest
covered
was
up?
like $25 more. Like I still haven't finished it. That thing you were playing with the vampires,
Yeah.
that was the DLC.
Oh really? So I was like playing a whole separate part of the game, really.
Yeah, it even like is set on a separate map. That's like another full size map. So I feel like to me that studio right now is like the best when it comes to, hey, you want serious bang for your buck, you want quality stuff, you want a company that gives a shit that you buy their game. Like they were the first company to, like, when you buy the game, there's like a note written inside by the like head of the studio head, just like, hey, thanks for buying our game. Like, we're not a massive studio, we appreciate it. And now you see
should probably
every
hold on
studio
to
doing
this.
that.
Yeah.
Like Battlefield, you know, EA has done this with Battlefield. Titanfall did it. I'm pretty sure the Dishonored 2 game that I bought, that has a little letter in there. But to me, like, that's the best of the best.
This should help.
But here's the thing. This whole thing started because, like, you're super looking forward to Dead Rising 4, which
Yeah.
my comments were nothing about,
Really
like,
help
whether
our
the
local
gameplay
press
was
if we had
good
the
or anything
power.
like that. It's the fact that the actual true ending to the game is locked away in the season pass.
Now, where did you get that information? Because I was just kind of curious.
On and off the field.
Well, you can just,
My strategy.
like, type it into Google. It's been on multiple, like, reports. When they detailed the season pass, they released, like, a video detailing the season pass.
Yeah.
And it even, like, states it in there.
Well, I saw because people were
So-
posting videos of the ending, but I like, of course, I don't want to click on it just in case I do down the line, like, end up playing it or end up, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to ruin it for me, so I was just like maybe like they did something different or something, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, no, it was too far down the line. And that super irks me because that's not even the first time Capcom's done that. They did this, like, anime type game where, I can't remember the name. I should have done more research. But
This looks important.
I'll look it up. But that was another game where you have to play through the entire game, and then it ends on like a cliffhanger because that game it wasn't like a Telltale type episodic,
yeah.
but it was formatted like a TV show. Like, but you pay $60, and then to get the actual ending to the game, you had to buy 2 different DLC packs.
Oh, nice.
So it's not even the first time Capcom's done that. Not to mention, earlier this year, they released Street Fighter V.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you read more about it.
Well, I heard they corrected some of it because they were gonna like make DLC for like certain characters, even like to unlock certain characters in the game, like not even Boda's characters. You know what I mean? So, but I heard like they reprimanded some of that.
Well, it took months. And when the game first launched, okay, they had microtransactions in there. So you know Capcom's games, they always use Zenny. So there was like a separate type of currency that took forever to build up that you could unlock stuff with by playing like single player matches, which, yeah, you played like, you know, in like Mortal Kombat, how the very basic story mode back in those games was like a 10 wave thing. You know, you climb up the ladder, you fight 10 opponents, one of which is like
Mirror match.
Mirror match, and then you'd fight Goro at the end. So they didn't even have that in the game. They just had like 6 random matches with like these tiny little videos at the beginning and end that were like 30 seconds long. When they said that the game would have a story mode.
Yeah.
Story mode didn't come out until I think 4 or 5 months after the game launched.
So it's like, what the hell took them so long?
Yeah, and so you know, these big the microtransactions that everybody gets so angry about. When they launched the game, their store didn't work right. So the first couple of days, people bought a bunch of like that currency with the microtransactions, and then turned out they
The
couldn't
power's
even
still
use
working
them.
around here.
So
Nice.
people used cash to purchase credits that they couldn't use. Okay, to where they ended up having to completely bail on it because they couldn't figure out how to get the store to work.
Oh wow. So like they completely fucked up.
Yeah, and they did not refund the money because there's a no return policy on like PlayStation for like DLC or downloaded anything.
Which I'm surprised, like, to be honest, overall, like that hasn't changed because there's return policies even on like physical disc. Like if the manufacturer messes up a disc, there is like a return policy on it technically. You know what I mean? But for some reason, you're saying like digital content like that like doesn't have like return, you know.
Like Xbox and Sony don't have it. Steam has done it now, but you can only play.
Well, that's because they have like 1,000 games and like a lot of them are real shitty. From
yeah, and I think you can only play like a maximum of 2 hours. And if you play more than 2 hours, you can't return it. And even if like you play less than the 2 hours and you're saying, you know, I don't want this game, they can still possibly turn down your return request on Steam.
What?
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
So with Street Fighter V, then on top of that, so they couldn't get the store to work. So then all they did was release one of the DLC characters early.
Yeah.
So that anybody could play them because they couldn't figure out how to charge people for the character. And then once they did figure out how to do it with DLC characters, then anybody who downloaded it all of a sudden couldn't use the character. They now had to pay for it.
Wow.
Yeah. And so there was all these features, like I'm pretty sure leaderboards didn't even work in the game. So most people who are going to buy Street Fighter V are in it for the online, you know, fighting.
I thought the game
But
had
the
like horrific like load times too. Like that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was a busted piece of shit, and they took people's money, and they got lucky. With Street Fighter V, they got lucky that nobody cared and not that many people bought it because people did their research. So only the like super hardcore fans really bought the game.
Yeah.
But because of that, because they're not an EA where everybody's gonna buy Battlefield or, you know, Star Wars Battlefront, because of that, you didn't have people saying, you know, shut down Capcom and Capcom's the worst company. Because just not enough people care about them. And that was my argument, that like, if people want to talk shit about EA, then they definitely need to be looking at a company like Capcom and saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Or,
I just don't think they're at like my biggest argument point because I had to do some research because like one like when we're texting each other you're like are you just trying to piss like because sometimes like you're super smart so I like find ways to piss you off somehow. You know what I mean? Like I'll point out something small and like just attach to it. And like my brother and I like call each other by our Batman like villain names. Like I'm Two-Face in retrospect, and then he's the Riddler. Like so for me it's like I'm nice, but then I have that evil side, you know, blah blah blah. And my brother is just, you know, intelligent or whatever. And so he was just like, "Are you just saying stuff to piss me off? We need to talk about this in the podcast." And like my biggest argument is I understand what you're saying. Like, Capcom should be judged by their DLC issues and everything, but I definitely don't. I still don't see them being as bad as Electronic Arts or EA. Sorry, because like,
well, like
their shit
does
is
EA do?
I mean, because you could have DLC for like gameplay and stuff like that, but they have like DLC for like weapons and like you could buy like crates now for like $100, You know what I mean?
You
Like,
can do that. You could do that in the game you're playing right now.
yeah,
Like, you're playing Call of Duty, and you're saying, but did you buy any of those? Like,
No.
microtransactions? No,
hell
you
no.
don't have to. Like,
But that's
I
what
think
people are
it's-
complaining about overall, is just the fact that they exist, whether they buy it or not. You know what I mean? It's just like,
But Street Fighter had those as well. To get, like, the costumes and stuff like that, you would have to pay, like, real money or play, like, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of, like, single-player fights.
hours, yeah.
Yeah, to get one stage. And all the stage did was go from day to night. Like,
Which makes me wonder, like, the one thing I wonder, like, that I was thinking of now, like, that we brought it up, is I wonder what the first, like, game with,
That was like sliding into home plate
DLC
on
or
a surfboard.
microtransaction was. You know what I mean? I don't know why, but I was, like, so curious about that. I'm like, huh.
well, one of the first
You know what
DLCs
bullets never hurt?
was fucking Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion.
Yeah.
They released horse armor.
Like,
And it
dress up like a
didn't-
horse?
it didn't-
like HORSE?
No, like, you paid $5 to get, like, you'd have a normal horse in the game, and you
Yeah.
could get basically what looked like armor for your horse.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant, like, armor where, like, it made you look like a horse. I'm like, oh my god, that'd be funny.
That would probably be worth the $5 as opposed to armor
For
that
your
didn't
horse.
Even make, and it didn't even make your horse stronger. It was just an outfit for a horse that you ride maybe once in a while.
Oh, wow. That's
And
ridiculous.
I think the first season pass was Gears of War 2. I think it was 2 or Gears of War 3. I think it was 2.
Oh, yeah.
That was the first season
I
pass.
try to look it up, but it just, like, I don't know, it just didn't really, like, come up or something. I don't know what was going on. But, oh, and just a remark, neither my brother or I are fanboys of either Capcom or EA. We're just kind of discussing
Yeah,
it
I
before.
was, like, I was saying, like, Capcom and EA are just as bad of, like, publishers and developers. Like, it's one of those things where, like, all this stuff is ancillary to, like, quality of games usually,
Yeah.
outside of Capcom, because Capcom's had this, like, cycle of releasing unfinished, broken, buggy games, and nobody cares because not as many people are buying those games as the amount of people who bought Battlefield 1. And then even with Titanfall 2, all the DLC is free. And that's an EA published game. Like,
Well-
so there's just these things where I'm like, everybody shits on EA, but, like, Capcom gets a pass even though they're releasing unfinished games with microtransactions, with endings to games hidden in the DLC. Like, to me, that's when you should just quit making games. If you can't put out a full game for $60 and expect somebody to pay extra to finish the game, like, that makes me sick.
I still hate that, like, games to this day, like, have to have so many updates. Like, I understand some of them, you know what I mean? Like, but, like, for example, the Assassin's Creed one is a huge example of that, where they, like, released it, and then, like, they had to patch the shit because, like, people were, like, flying through the walls, and, like, remember all the pictures of the, like, nasty-ass skeleton faces and stuff? Like, oh my god, I was just like, how did that, like, I mean, I'm not a quality assurance person for video games by any means, but it's like, how did that get past them? You know what I mean? Like, how bad, like, how much were they, like, not paying attention for that to get past them? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think that whole thing you're saying about, like, patches, like, some studios, like CD Projekt with The Witcher, use patches to, like, improve games, not because they think their original concept was bad,
Yeah.
But maybe it got into the hands of people buying the game, and they had opinions, and instead of going, you know, no, we like what we have here, they decided, like, in The Witcher 3, basically, when you played the game originally, like, your character and the camera moved, like, independently, and they had a priority on the animation of Geralt, like, turning his body. So it would seem rather slow when you're trying to, like, move and face something.
Yeah.
So people complained about it. They said, hey, it's not broken, but, like, couldn't this be faster? And CD Projekt said, I think we can figure it out. And they released a patch, giving you the option to have it in a quicker, like, where it almost started feeling like a third-person shooter instead of a third-person RPG.
Instead of like an action RPG.
But yeah, instead you have, like, Ubisoft releasing games that are broken, and then having to completely alter the map to make the game playable.
Can I say something weird? I'm surprised Ubisoft still exists. I mean, I know they released some good games, like that Assassin's Creed obviously like was popular, you know what I mean? But it's like, they've had a lot of like hiccups that like, I couldn't believe that they got beyond, you know what I mean?
Oh, I easily think they're
Oh, Ubisoft
like,
is.
in terms, like, I like some of their games. I like some of their games, but I honestly feel like when it comes to releasing broken, buggy games and annualizing franchises that should take a break, they have been the worst. Thankfully, this year, as you can probably tell, they're taking a year off of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Now, granted, they had Watch Dogs to release to fall back on, but Ubisoft is...
Which a lot of people liked.
Whole podcast on that.
on Ubisoft alone. Now, what was the other topic you're kind of talking about? Because, like, I mean, I understand what you're saying. I don't think Capcom is as egregious. I understand your point of view of it, though. But it's like, man, I don't know. Like, I just think, like, you know what the weird thing is?
One other example of what EA does wrong.
Well, here's the thing that I was going to tell you that, like, I thought of while I was, like, sitting there, like, thinking to myself, like, you know, because, like, for some of the conversations I, like, come loaded with information just so, you know, I don't make myself sound dumber than I am or whatever. But, like, I can't even hate on them. And you know why? It's because they make a shit ton of money off of it. So it's like, I'm not even mad at them about it. You know what I mean? It's like, if you know, because if somebody came up to me and was like, hey man, I want to create extra content for this thing that you have, like, or whatever, and you can make the X amount of dollars off of it, of course I'm going to say yes. I'm not going to be like, oh no, you know, like, just like, of course I'm going to be like, hell yeah, whatever you got to do, you do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I just wish that they would do, like, get rid of some of the crate prices, I guess. Like, for example, like the zombie game. If I wanted like 100 crates of fictitious stuff, it's like $100, and I know I don't have to buy it. But like, a mobile game or something like that. Like even mobile games, like, get pricey after a while. Like certain things that you have to download or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, that's most people's argument with like console games having those things, is that you pay $60, you expect the full game up front, so why are you getting microtransactions? I think this comes back to a conversation we had before about how games are cheaper than they've ever been because the price has only gone up by $10.
Yeah, not even, because Nintendo games used to be like $45, $50 by themselves.
Yeah, and so, like, and that's why, like, anytime somebody has microtransactions, I can't feel bad for, or I can't be mad at them, because look, it's a free market. Like, you have, if you believe in America, you believe in the free market.
Capitalism,
like, yeah. The reality is like, look, if people are willing to pay for it, obviously it's worth doing.
Yeah.
Now,
shed some light on the situation.
In this case, that makes sense. Like, if it's like people are willing to pay for you to kill their wife. Like, okay, that's not worth doing. That's a different thing.
Yeah,
but
that's a different.
when it comes to like a consumer product like that, like, look, if they want to take advantage of some idiot who has way too much disposable income and too much free time, you know what? Power to you. Because you don't open a business to lose money. You open a business to make
money. Yeah.
And regardless if you think video games are art or not, which I think, you know, art has to be a, you know, aspect of games because of look at the beautiful things you're looking at on screen right now.
Yeah.
Like, that took a bunch of artists to make. But even if the developer is making something to fulfill their artist need, then if that's all it's about, then don't ask for a $100,000 salary. Ask for $30,000 because that's enough to live on.
Yeah.
But no, the developers are just as guilty. They want money too. And so if people are willing to spend that money to get all their weapons unlocked in Battlefield early, let them. And if anything, like, good on you for going, you know what? That offers freedom to a player. Like me, I could imagine myself, if I had the money and was really into Battlefield 1, using money to unlock all the weapons because the progression is too slow anyways.
Yeah, it's turtly slow. It's like horribly slow.
And you could look at that as like, well then, that kind of forces you to want to, like, you know, pay for the currency to unlock those guns. But instead, what did I do? I deleted the game because I don't have the free time to get into it.
I was actually even thinking about trading it in because it's like, one, like, you and I never played anymore, and two, I don't want to play by myself anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I've been playing like either Diablo or, you know, whatever else I've been playing. I can't even think of it off the top of my head. So.
Well, you gotta get that Final Fantasy.
Oh my god. You know what I was thinking about that, by the way? I was like, I almost like feel inspired to buy it because you're so passionate about it. And it's like, you are passionate about a lot of games. Like, I was going back at some of our old podcasts and I felt bad because like you would say something like so positive about Mafia 3 and then 5 days down the road you're like, it's so damn repetitive. And then like a couple weeks you're like, okay, Battlefield 1 was cool, and then you're like, never mind, the multiplayer is a piece of shit. But with Final Fantasy 7, but the latest Final Fantasy 17, excuse me, you've actually 15, God bless it, 15, God bless it, 15. I don't know why I'm stuck on 7. I don't know what the hell. Anyways, you've actually been sticking to what you say consistently. You know what I mean? I don't know how to explain that. I gotta find the other pieces for this radio thing. But you've been sticking to like, yeah, this game's good. Yeah, this is like, you even like sent me videos like on the fly. You're like, you can be a, because like the first thing I asked you is like, can you be a mage? Which is like a totally like random thing, and then you send me this thing. You're like, yeah, you can be a mage, and I just did my first summon. It killed everyone. Blah 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 blah. I'm like, okay. I'm like, so he actually likes this game because I usually, all right, this is gonna sound shitty, but I let you play a game for a week or so till like I feel like I got your actual review of it, because like, you know, nothing. I'm not saying this in an offensive, but I'm like, okay, you get excited about certain game, things like that.
I do.
Yeah. And so
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give it a week to see how he really feels. I'm like, see if he really likes, you know, Final Fantasy. Like, he's gonna come to me in a week and be like, you know, it's boring and blah 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 blah, you know, all these different things. But so far, and you know, so far you've been sticking to it, so like that encourages me more. You know, and I was looking up like different videos of that and things, and I watched this guy do his first summon, or a summon of, it was like a godlike creature. I don't know what it was called. I can't remember, obviously, but
damn it, was it like a giant dude who like picked him up?
It was like a white beard.
In the sky?
Yeah, he was like a white beard.
Oh my god. Here's the thing. You know what? I'm gonna say right now. Like, hold on. Hold on.
Go ahead.
Say something?
Something.
Okay, that's better. I had you too loud. Sorry about that, guys. So that game, right now, I'm leveled up enough to where I could probably beat the game without having too much of a challenge.
Yeah.
Because I'm so into it that, like, even the most boring side quest there is, I'm still enjoying the combat so much. And, like, the slow, like, drip-fed, like, upgrades that I get to the character and the different characters that, like, I'm still only halfway through the game, even though I'm pretty sure I'm leveled up enough to where I could go through the ending of the game and beat the end of the game without too much of, like, it's still challenging because the combat is, like, complicated.
Yeah.
But I love it so much that, like, I can't stop, like, doing side quests and finding, like, because there's certain weapons you can upgrade, but you have to find these materials to upgrade them, and unless you use, like, a guide or, like, look them up, you never really know where you're gonna find them. So I just randomly found one that I've been waiting for like 2 different play sessions today, and I got so excited.
Yeah.
I was just like, yes! And then, so that summon that you were talking about, after I told you, hey, I summoned for the first time, I had a save point.
Yeah.
I had a save point, and I haven't, like, overwritten it yet, because I wanted to, like, load it up and show you the summon, because I was so happy and excited about it.
You're like...
I made a separate save just to, like, load it up and show you.
You should share it on the YouTube page, that'd be funny.
I've watched, like, so then, on top of that, they released a 2-hour CG movie, and then they had an hour worth of anime that they released.
Yeah.
And I've watched all that extra content just because I'm so into the world and the story and the characters that, like, I want all of it.
You're like,
I thought of.
I want my money. I want it now.
Yeah, I thought about buying the strategy guide just so, like, when I get into the late game, because there's content you can't see until you beat the game.
Yeah.
Including, like, a dungeon that I guess is like 3 hours long, and there's no combat. It's just like puzzle solving and platforming using the warping ability.
Nice.
And I'm just like, oh my god, like, so I thought about buying the guide just so I could find those things and find other, because it's a Japanese game, so there's a lot of, like, hidden things, little Easter eggs all over the place, I guess.
Yeah.
So I wanted, like, to get the guide so I could find those. Like, I'm super looking forward to the DLC. I'm probably going to do a new game plus, because I guess they're patching in, like, a new game plus where they change, like, the enemies and everything.
That's cool.
Like,
alright, I'm ready for the second half.
And how much is the DLC for that? Is that the regular price still, the 60 or whatever?
I don't know. Like, I'm gonna wait till it comes out. Like, I'm not gonna buy a season pass.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold on to my physical copy. And when the DLC comes out, be able to hop into it. If, like, you know, reviews and people say that it's worth it. Because if it's, like, shitty, like, DLC, I'll just immediately go trade the game at that point.
You're just like, I'm done with it.
Yeah.
Now, does it have, like, any replay value where, like, you can get different endings or anything like that where it could be worth playing over, or is it just kind of a standard set piece?
I have to imagine that it's just one ending. To be honest, because, like, there's not a whole lot of choice in the game. Like, you have little dialogue options here and there.
Which is typical of an RPG. Like, I'm not saying I expected it to be anything, you know, crazy, you know, but I was saying, like, just for your own sake of mind, if there's a different way you can, like, approach it. Like, I bet you could probably play it as, like, a different class, I'm guessing, but beyond
my plan for New Game Plus. I think, because remember, like, when I sent you those pictures, like, I was basically saying, like, yeah, you could basically be a battle mage. Because, like, what I found out is you can take other items like food and potions and mix those with your like elements when you're crafting spells, and it completely changes the properties.
Yeah.
So like the lightning mixed with a potion makes like a healing storm. So if enemies are in there, it's hurting them, but if you're standing in the middle of it, it's healing you. And I'm
Nice.
just like, oh. So I'm like, well, if I do that, if I load up with like 3 of those and then a pair of daggers, I could basically be like a battle mage.
Nice.
And so like whip around the battlefield, chuck my spells at them, you know, and take people out, you know, from the edges of the map and stuff. And I'm just like, oh, there's so much depth to this game.
Now, do you mind if I share just for like a couple minutes why I like want Dead Rising 5 for so bad? Or
well, actually, you get it in a year.
If it comes, yeah, once it comes down to PS4 or something.
Yeah, because it's just like Rise of the Tomb Raider came out on Xbox One, and then a year later it came out on PS4 with all the DLC and everything.
Nice.
So that way, if you get the PS4 copy, you'll actually get the ending to the game.
Oh my god.
For the $60. Just gotta wait a year. So yeah, go ahead and share while you're looking for it.
Well, cause like, I was watching like a bunch of videos on it, you know what I mean? Like, and I usually don't with games that I kind of are expecting to play, but for some reason with Dead Rising, I wanted to, because like, I heard they took off the time clock, which is like, because I remember you asked me like, why I liked the Dead Rising series so much, because I pretty much played all of them except for, I think, the 3rd one? The one that came out on Xbox One originally, Dead Rising 3 or 3? Yeah.
3, and then 4 is Xbox One exclusive for a year.
Yeah, Xbox. Yeah, I meant Dead Rising 4. I said Dead Rising 5 on Xbox. But yeah, so I haven't played the 3rd one necessarily because I don't have an Xbox, obviously. But I was watching videos, and my brother and I were talking a lot about like what kind of games I like for some reason, because like we kind of found out really through just process of elimination that I don't really care for like open world like crack games and things like that. So like Sleeping Dogs, or you know, I play some Grand Theft Auto, but I never complete it. Like I just play it like just to fuck around, you know what I mean? Or like the most time I play Grand Theft Auto is when you, me, and I think it was one of our friends, I can't remember what, Keith, played around in the airport with naked zombie guys. Like, so that was like the longest period of time like together I played it. So anyway, so the reason why I like Dead Rising 5 so much, well, Dead Rising 5, or that I look forward to Dead Rising 4 so much, is because like, one, there's no time clock on it anymore, so instead of like feeling like you gotta rush and like save people or figure out the story, now you can like take your time and like kill. Your baby's laugh is killing me right now. I'm trying not to laugh, but no, it's okay.
On my lap.
I'm trying not to like laugh because it's like hilarious sounding on the microphone, because it's just like I'm gonna die. Here goes. Anyways, so I was watching a video on it, and like there's this guy who was like riding a tricycle with like a blade on it, and it was like mowing down these zombies or whatever. I was like, oh my god. I'm like, that's the perfect game for me, because it looks like there's gonna be a story to it, which is cool, but there's also gonna be like no time limit, so I can like do the mission like whenever I feel fit and just like run around, kill a bunch of zombies, and there's like so many different types of weapon variations, and like there's so many different costumes you can have. Like that's the one thing I look forward to the most, is like changing out my costumes, because I remember when I played Rising for the first time and I saw like, you put a Lego head on top of your head, or it's not really Lego per se, but it's a Lego looking thing. I like ran, found that
Chibi Robot or something like that. Or
yeah.
like an old Capcom game.
Yeah, I went, put that thing on my head and just ran around. And the last one I played, even though I was pissed off that it wasn't loading correctly online, is I put my guy in like a onesie and just ran around and just killed zombies and you know, help some of the survivors or whatever. I don't know. I just like, I think the thing I like about it the most is like one, it's arcade fun if you want, and two, like they add a story. And like now that there's no timer, I feel like I'll do the story obviously, but like the one downfall of the Dead Rising series is like even though it's not a true 24-hour period, it makes you wish it was, because like the game timer is quick in retrospect because it forces you to do certain things at certain times. So for example, the first Dead Rising, every 8 hours you had to come back and bring your daughter Zombrex, so she would, that wasn't the first one, that was the second one. I mean, you would have to bring back Zombrex to your daughter, like that's the thing that like keeps you from getting the zombie. And so you'd be in the middle of a mission trying to escort somebody back, and you get an alarm on your like watch, hey, come get your daughter some Zombrex or she's gonna die. And I'd be like, oh motherfuck, I'm like, I don't have time for this, you know what I mean? But at the same time, like, I was so addicted to the gameplay because it was like fast paced, it was easy enough so you didn't feel like overwhelmed, you know what I mean? And now with like the timer, I guess the one downfall I hear a lot of people saying is like it's too easy, but for me, like that might be perfect because it's like that I could just come home, turn my brain off, run around like in a panda suit killing zombies, and like think nothing of it, you know what I mean? And it's just like, it's one of those games that like, even though you said that I can't get the ending unless I pay for it or whatever, like that's kind of disappointing, but I still look forward to like playing it because I heard the gameplay overall is like still fun, even though there's a little bit of, there's a lot of hiccups with it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I guess sometimes there's too.
It's a sandbox. Like the reason you enjoy those games is it's a sandbox with zombies.
Yeah.
And you, I think of anybody I know, like you love zombies more than anybody I know.
Yeah.
Like I love me a good zombie movie, but like the amount of time you spent in these zombie modes on these Call of Duty games,
yeah,
like,
it's probably frightening.
And not even with like 3 friends where you're like, alright guys, let's buddy up and go find all the secrets. You're just like, I love shooting zombies. That's what I do.
That's what I do.
So, I can understand it, because I think like, the closest to me with something like that was, like Saints Row the Third. Like,
yeah.
Even if that game didn't have a story, the amount of crazy shit you can do in it with the upgrades and the weapons and changing your gender whenever you wanted was like super fun.
Yeah.
So I understand like why, like I would never say those games are bad games. I know they're not for me because I feel like it's, and this is just me, I'm not saying like, no, that game's boring, you're an idiot, but to me they're boring because the zombie, there's no challenge in the zombie.
Yeah, and I understand what you're saying because you, like, I don't mind a challenge, but sometimes there's like a game that, like, the challenge if I want there to be, like, obviously like past like scene like 11, 12, like solo for me, and this is just me being a bad gaming gamer because there's gamers out there that can live up to like level 40 by themselves, but like level 20 to me on this is like nearly impossible. I die all the time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like something like that, I can make it as challenging as I need to. And I think what we boiled it down to is like my favorite types of games are like action and then RPG, and then like I like racing games even though I haven't got to play one in so long, you know what I mean?
Yeah. We could have a whole topic about like awesome racing games in the past and how that genre is just like dead if you're looking for the type of arcade racing.
Yeah.
Like we could do a whole podcast on racing.
I've been watching like a lot of Forza play, and I kind of want to get that now. I'm like, it's like.
You're slowly trying to convince Monica to get you an Xbox, aren't you?
I don't know if it'll ever. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but dreams do come true. Like dreams do come true.
I had mine for like 3 months, and I was just like, I have no purpose for this. I played like, through Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
And one other game, I think, and then I was just like, oh hi PS4.
Hello. Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Oh god.
Sorry. I mean, the Disturbed version was the best. No, I'm just kidding.
You're a monster. But no, I almost feel like I wish, and that's why I keep thinking about getting the Dead Rising 2 off the record, because that one has a no time limit mode.
Yeah. That's the other one I meant to talk about, was that one.
Because they've re-released.
Let's see what's behind
They
lucky door
re-released
number
all of
1.
them except for 3 on PS4. So
Yeah,
Dead Rising 1, 2, and 2 off the record.
Yeah, 1 and 2, and then I think off the record, yeah.
But it's just I feel like my favorite zombie game of all time is easily Dying Light. I
Dying
like
Light.
Dead Island, but you could tell it was janky and kind of just super rough around the edges. And then I think with Dying Light, by adding in the parkour and everything, and you were talking about a timer. I loved in Dying Light that there was a day-night cycle.
Yeah, see, that was cool. Sorry, go ahead.
Where it was basically just at night, the zombies were they had, I can't even remember what
They're like
called,
hunters.
They were
They're like hunters. Because they had red light eyes and they would brack you. They had a little tracking umbrella that they can get you with or whatever. And that was super that made the game during the day, during the day you kind of have fun because you can still die, but you can escape so easily. But at night, you can still escape, but those little bastards, they follow you. You know what I mean? They're a pain in the ass, actually.
I totally want to do that again.
So it's
But then because that game was an RPG, then when you get stronger and you start killing those things in 2 hits, you feel like I am the zombie killer.
Yeah.
I am the king.
I am Groot. So,
you know what I was thinking about too?
Since we have 9 minutes left, I do have one question for you.
What's that?
How do you feel about the Transformers trailer that just released?
Oh man, I wish I could remember his line. It's we're not giving up.
Yeah.
And the guy's super serious. He's like, we gotta get out of here. There's too many of them. And he's like, hey, we're not giving up, man. And
it's Mark Wahlberg's voice.
Yeah. Which, look, he's I feel like Mark Wahlberg is a Nicolas Cage, where Nicolas Cage can be the most entertaining, badass, funny actor in the world. He can do it all.
Yeah.
But most of the time, he just makes bad choices, bad movie role choices, and he's just terrible in those. He just sticks out like a sore thumb. I feel like Mark Wahlberg's the same.
Yeah, it kind of is. Because I went back. Okay, I checked his IMDb real quick, right? Because I was thinking, man, I hate Mark Wahlberg as an actor. I'm like, wait a minute, let's be fair. Let's look back at some of the movies that, he's done to see how many I liked. And you know what's funny? A lot of the movies I liked him in wasn't because he was the main actor. He was just so happened to be a part of it. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's the other guys was one of my biggest examples. It's I enjoy the other guys, and Mark Wahlberg's funny in it. But the funnier parts are because of Will Ferrell or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And the best part of that movie was The Rock and Sam Jackson.
Just
for the bushes.
They just jump. Yeah. Spoiler alert.
And Michael Keaton.
Yeah,
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton, the greatest. Oh God, the greatest. He's just the greatest.
Yeah, think about it. He was in The Departed. He was in I thought Shooter was awesome. I don't know.
Yeah, Shooter's pretty good. Yeah, Shooter's pretty good.
Did you watch Lone
But
Survivor?
he doesn't talk like his. No, I refuse. He doesn't talk like himself in Shooter. You know what I mean?
Wait, you refuse to see Lone Survivor? What happened?
It's just one of those military things. I don't know. I think it'll make me aggressive, and I just try not to watch those kinds of movies.
Oh, it's super good and super heart wrenching, and
that's what I'm saying. Sometimes it's hard for me to watch military movies because I get pissed. like unfathomably pissed off. You know what I mean?
I can't watch
These
the
things
end
are
of
gonna
Black
need some
Hawk Down
power.
without tearing up.
Yeah.
There's that moment where, like, the guys, when they're finally coming back, and the guys load up the other guys, and then they run alongside the transport vehicle,
Mm-hmm.
and so they're, like, dead, they're exhausted, and yet they're still just, like, running next to the vehicle. Oh, it fucking kills me.
Well,
Every
and the thing
fucking
is
time I
like,
watch that.
I used to be able to watch military movies a lot before I was in the military, but like post-military, now I just kind of get pissed because I think of like their thought process, like what it has to be. It's like, yeah, I'm doing this to help my country, but at the same time, it's like this is fucking horse shit, dick shit, shit, fuck shit, all kinds of, you know, like, and it's one of those things that get like. It gets my blood boiling, so it's hard for me to watch those because it's like then I don't enjoy the movie, even if it's like a cinematic, like, you know, story-wise, it's
I know what you're
amazing.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways,
But I think.
go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say, I think that's why military films are so important. And
Yeah.
how they're very rare these days. But I think they're like super important films. Like whether they're, you know, whether it's like a Black Hawk Down, where it's just like, you know what, these guys were here doing a job. It doesn't matter why they were here, you know, or whatever. They were doing a job and they got the job done. Even though the movie is like a super modified version of the actual event.
Yeah.
Or if it's like
Well, that's how movies are in general.
Yeah. Or if it's like a commentary on like why war is fucked up. Like Full Metal Jacket is 100% an anti-war film. Like Stanley Kubrick literally said, he's like, oh, I just made a horror film that just so happened to be set during Vietnam.
Vietnam.
So, but I mean, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, Mark Wahlberg, he's
Totally.
fucking special.
Yeah, because I was even thinking like the movie Fighter. I like that a lot, but then I'm like, I only like it because of Christian Bale.
Christian Bale.
Yeah, Christian Bale's character.
As a fucking drug addict, like,
Actually, like,
terrifying.
anything?
Which I'm starting to wonder, like, out of all the actors, like, I feel like that guy, I'm sure they all do, but like tears his body up for his roles. Like, cause like
Yeah.
the Machinist, he was like super skinny, and then he did Batman, and he got bulked up. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Anyways,
he had to go, like, when
but that's
he
just my
went
fanboy
to,
coming
like,
out of me.
Yeah, when he went to, like, get fitted for the bat suit, like, they basically couldn't make the suit until a couple days before they started shooting or something like that, because he had to have time to bulk the fuck up before he could, like, play the role.
That's crazy. That's why I was like thinking, like, if somebody asked me, like, what one actor could you want to see in real life? I'm like, Christian Bale. And I feel like some people would be like, oh, that's such a waste of time. But to me, it's like, it's my dream come true. You know what I mean?
Yeah. think about this with, like, Christian Bale. Like, I've been watching on YouTube. Have you ever seen the show Penn and Teller 4?
Yes, I like that show a lot, actually.
Oh my god. I've been, like, watching so much of it on YouTube. But then I was watching it and I just thought of the movie.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen that in a while.
I know. I was just like, I need to watch that again. That movie's so good. It's fucking Wolverine and Batman trying to out-magic each other.
Out-magic each other by killing their wives. By killing each other's wives. Or the one guy kills the other dude's wife.
Wait, what? I don't remember that part.
Oh, I might be thinking of the other magic movie with the Hulk, the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah. and Rhino from Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Everybody's been in superhero movies.
Yeah, really, it's so true. But anyway, so we're down to like our last coming minutes. There's some topics that we didn't even cover. Like, we're so bad at this.
Yeah, I could have sworn there was something else we were going to talk about.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Capcom and Capcom took a beating this episode. And I guess when it comes down to it, look, okay, I've made my peace with it. Like, at least one person who plays video games has finally put them on blast. So
Yeah.
I guess I'm okay with that at least.
Yeah. So you've done something. I don't know what, but you've done it.
I feel good now that I've just, like, for the 3 people who listen to this show, like, look, just think about Capcom for a minute, and you know,
and keep them
before you
soft
go
in your
to
hearts
the
compared to
polling
EA.
box. Yeah. EA's not as bad as you think.
Vote for Naughty Dog.
Oh, Naughty Dog's so good.
Yeah,
How
they are.
good did that Last of Us 2 trailer look?
Oh my god. That little girl is pissed. That little girl's pissed. But the funny thing is like she's supposed to be pissed at Joel, and I don't think she is yet. But I have a bad feeling when she Joel, it's gonna go.
What do you think about
Like, I totally want to do that again.
like there's a part of the trailer that makes it look like Joel's actually dead, and she's actually going and killing fireflies because they hunted down Joel and killed him.
I think he's probably alive. I mean, I don't know.
I feel like it would be better if he was
I have to
dead.
see him dead. I have to see him dead.
Well, I think it would be better if it was like a twist,
What
like
the heck is this for?
almost like the Sixth Sense, where like she's like traveling with them, and
Yeah.
you never really see them in combat.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I would like that because I feel like that would be such like a
Like she's lost her mind.
passe. You know. I don't know.
I don't know.
If they're gonna kill off Joel, you know what I mean?
Well, part of me wonders if like the opening of the game will be set shortly after the events of the first one, and you see Joel get killed. Like the opening of the game is almost like
yeah.
when Ellie loses Joel. And
Now
so
that
it
I'll
opens-
just cry and throw my remote on the wall. Even though, you know what's weird? He technically deserves it. You know what I mean? Because like they had they thought they were oh god, never mind. I don't want to. Can I spoil it? Can I spoil it? Alright, I'm gonna spoil it. I'm sorry. It's been a couple years since that game came out. But at the end, there's a part where they're saying how Ellie is the cure for the zombie virus. And the only way
they're
for
not sure.
well, they're pretty sure. I mean, it's
Well, what they're gonna do is cut open her head and pull out her brain and see if they can use tissue from the brain
to heal everyone.
Yeah.
So, and Joel's like, at the end of the game, you basically say, fuck that, and kill everyone. So, what could have been the end of the zombie, well, it's not really zombie, it's like more of like an infection, I guess. But what could have been the potential end of all that becomes, oh god, becomes like where technically Joel can be the bad guy. But
He is, like,
but he
I think
makes
he's the villain.
makes to Ellie, that's her name, right? I'm not fucking that up. It's been a while since I played Ellie. Ellie doesn't know the difference because she's all fucked up. You know what I mean? And so Ellie just thinks he's a good guy, but everybody else knows that he's the bad guy. So
He
what
lies
would?
to her too.
Yeah, straight to her fucking face. And so what I think what they could do? What if Ellie kills him? Oh god.
Then who is she hunting down?
Everyone.
Why
She's
is
just
she
like, fuck
like-
it. I died. I got too excited thinking about it. But anyways, but yeah, so would it be cool if like she finds out he's the bad guy or something, and I don't know what they're gonna do, but I'm excited for it, as you can tell. More zombie stuff.
Oh wow, the video is super delayed
Is it really?
because it was like 30 seconds from the time you saying I died until you died.
Oh well. You could like when you replay it though, like on the video, like it streams perfectly. So I don't know, it's weird.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it does.
But anyway, so do you have any final thoughts before I end this broadcast?
I'm thinking maybe I'm gonna end up like finishing Final Fantasy's story
Yeah.
and putting it down for a little while, and then I'm gonna play through Dishonored next.
The Dishonored
and
2
then
game.
return to, yeah, because that's just kind of sitting up there. Like, while Final Fantasy just eats every free moment I have.
That's cool. All right, for my final moment, I look forward to the holidays. It's gonna be nice to be able to see you and your family, and then head out and just like hang out with my fiance for a couple days. I just hope everyone has a safe and good holiday. We'll probably do one more podcast before the holiday, and the week of the holiday, I don't know if we'll be able to get one in, but I just wanted to make sure that everybody has a nice, safe holiday. And if you don't follow the holidays, and that's not your thing, then just enjoy your time.
Yeah.
So,
Keep doing what you're doing.
yeah, do you, man? Do you? All right, I'm gonna just stop this. 1, 2, 3. Goodbye.